Welcome, everybody, to the Rise podcast. Rise is more than just an event. It's a journey to self-discovery, to find out our true selves in a time where we're all looking to find peace, all looking to find ourselves in midst of chaos. And I've had the pleasure to work with some amazing people in this journey. And I'd like to first introduce Bana Idris, who's part of the guest list of my hand-picked roster of speakers that are leading people in their journey. Bana is a lifestyle dietitian. She's an influencer, a successful entrepreneur, and the list goes on. But today we want to discuss who is Bana Idris, the person behind the name. So Bana, could you please tell us about yourself?
I always tell them I'm not very good at talking about myself. I prefer that, what you said is more than enough. This is who I am professionally. I'm a dietitian. I've been in the business for 15 years. I came to Dubai 10 years ago. I used to be like a typical dietitian with, running diets and putting restrictions on people. And then I decided to let go of that path, go into more holistic nutrition. And this is where I started the first brand, Bala Diet, Bala Battikh, meaning forget about diets. And then, when you're in Dubai, this entrepreneurial, drive just comes out naturally. And then you start thinking that I have to do something for myself. So that's where I started the other brand, which is a tanning oil. And I feel that whatever I do always has maybe a mission or some sort of I just try to look for a gap, and then I do my best to fill it, whatever it is. Is it maybe making people more happy or more beautiful, or maybe, doing what you're doing at Rise. And I'm just very happy to be part of the journey.
So you mentioned, Bana, don't give a damn about diet. This is about being carefree. And I think Rise ethos is about living our authentic self by being a little carefree, a bit childlike. How has that helped you in your journey being an entrepreneur and doing what you do?
Well, yeah. Like you said, I try to let go of any restrictions, whether it's in work or life. So because I felt that diets do have this restriction on your life, which is something that we don't need because we already live a very stressful life. So I feel that when you get rid of that burden of having to go on diets and having to maybe, be so picky about what you eat, and sometimes where you go and then what you do is just very stressful. So once I myself relieved myself from this burden of diets, and then I found that people are much, much happier when they hear it coming out from a dietitian telling them, well, you know what? I don't do diets, so why should you?
Wow, that's amazing. What does it take to be a lifestyle dietitian, Bana?
Well, I think it takes a little bit of thinking outside the box. So, some people, they really like to go by the book and they like to follow whatever education had taught them and what maybe society is doing. But for me, I always try to do something outside the box, which is, I said, why would I be a typical dietitian and just repeat what everybody's doing? So I think it takes a little bit of courage and a little bit of this rebel inside of you that says, I don't want to do what everybody's doing. And I don't know, maybe having this, this passion for life, that you want to enjoy life. You don't want to be restricted on so many levels.
True. You've answered my next question as well, which is pretty good. I like that. I think all of us should sort of embrace being a little carefree in a society which is conforming us to rules, regulations, and in this time, I think even more so to express our eccentricness. Yes. And that's another thing what Rise is about. It's to embrace your authenticity on all levels, because who doesn't go through fear? But, we have to force ourselves to be a little uncomfortable so we can experience a bit of growth. And that's the journey of life.
I totally agree. And I like what you said about like bringing out the child in you, because, kids are carefree. They they don't really think about what to do and how to do it. They just, be themselves. And I think if we focus on the inner child inside of us, it'll just make our lives much easier, much more like it just becomes a happier place.
It does, right? And that's exactly what the soul really is. I try to convey this message with my clients as well, because I try to bring them to a soul-aligned lifestyle, which means to embrace the innocence, the childlike outlook on life, play a little, free yourself a little. Exactly. Why do you have to be surrounded with so many rules and conformity? I mean, we have to do it at some point in time, be a little serious, but at the same time, that innocence is something that we should really treasure within ourselves rather than suppressing it. Bana, you won the Shark Tank. I want to know a bit more about your experience. How was it like when you went in there? Did you know that you were going to win?
Absolutely not. That's what I told my friend and my mentor before I went on the show. I was like, I don't think I have a shot, because it's very hard to win on such a big show. And like, I do believe in myself. And so Shark Tank was a great experience. It was a lot of hard work because by the time they picked you till the time you got accepted, it's like 4 or 5 months. And then me being on the show was honestly something I never thought of winning. I went on the show and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just do some exposure for the brand. I don't think I have a chance to win, even though I do believe in myself. But still, it had this, you watch Shark Tank and you see the entrepreneurs that go on there, you see their presentations, you see how good they are in negotiations. I mean, there's a lot of things you have to think of when you're on the show. So when I got the first offer and then the second and the third, I'm like, oh, wow, this is really happening. And thank God, it's just a blessing. I say it's a blessing from God. It is a lot of hard work. And then it's maybe my mom's prayers, because she's watching for me, from up above. And then I'm just very blessed to win on the show.
That's very good. And you're very humble at that. But there might have been a level of intimidation. Does it feel the same way it looks on screen?
Absolutely not. No. It was longer. Okay. It was more fun. Mm-hmm. It was, of course, much more intimidating because you being there with everybody and the cameras and everything. But like you said, I'm used to being behind camera. For me, it's just fun. I can just be myself there. So I think that helped a little bit. Okay,
that did. All right, nice. You talked a bit about being your best self in the 2024 year, in year 2024. And I think that's something a lot of us are trying to strive to be. What does that look for Bana?
Being my best self. Well, I'll tell you things that I feel I have to or not work on. So first of all, this year, I didn't write any New Year's resolution. I said I will just focus on being a better version of me, which is a little bit more slowed down because I'm an enthusiastic person. I tend to want to do everything so quick. And because of Dubai's fast pace, I got used to that. And then I became much faster maybe. So this year I said, I'm going to take things slow. I'm going to try to work smarter, not harder, as cliche as it may sound. Focus more on what makes me happy. Honestly, move away from whoever might harm my energy, even by this much. Even if it's a meeting, I'm ready to leave and then say, I'm sorry, this is not working for me, I'm out. So when I first met you and you were talking about Rise, I was like, I felt so connected to this event because I knew that you had a clear intention. You don't want to do the event because you want to make money out of it. You really want to make it because you want to create this change and impact in people's lives. And I feel that when you have this pure intention, the world gives back to you. So, I'm just very excited. I want people to get excited too for us doing Rise. And I feel Rise is part of me rising in the 2024. That
is amazing. It's actually a part of everyone rising together.
Yeah.
That's why the handpicked roster of people that are part of this event are doing their best in their capacity. Yeah. Because like you, everyone is facing those fears, releasing what no longer serves, integrating the masculine and feminine within themselves. Because I've spoken to a lot of people, Bana, in this journey of life, let's call it, but especially after I, came into the inception of Rise. And it's very tough to find someone with a balance. Sure. Balance is something we all strive for, but a lot of us have problems with it. And I think at Rise, we want to give them the tools. For me to say so, in my journey, I've experienced a lot of women that are very much in their masculine energy. So far,
I used to be a lot like that, really? By the way, yeah.
So far, that it's a bit distorted in the masculine energy. But then, as you said, it's time for you to slow down a little bit, find that balance between the both. And that's how you start to live life in a flow state. Then you're able to attract when you want to, and you chase when you have to, however it works. And with you being there, it's the energy you would give out. What comes off our mouth is one thing, but the energy of how you feel in someone's presence, as you rightly said, 2024 for me and for a lot of people that are on this path of consciousness, it's all about embracing energy. I can say all the nice things to you, but if there is no intent behind it, you'll be like, something is off.
Yeah.
And as a woman...
And you feel it. You
correct.
Just feel it.
As a woman who's in touch with their intuition, you can see it even clearly. You'll sense danger, but unfortunately, where we are in the current generation, a lot of us have suppressed it so far that we aren't able to follow the intuition. So the guidance that you would give and everyone else would give to people would give them that idea.
I feel like I'm in a life coaching session. This is very calming.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
There's another part of Rise, which is the surrender aspect of it. Mm-hmm. We are so used to planning our weeks, days, months ahead and sticking to schedule in a time which is made by man. Mankind, let's not be a man or woman here, by mankind, by our species. But there is a divine timing of the universe, which means that everything will happen at a time it's meant to, when it's the right time for you to experience it. And that's when we go through it. Your journey of embracing the timing of life, of this journey, what kind of fears did you experience and how did you release those?
It's a very spot on question because and I hear this a lot, maybe, what they call is peer pressure. I hear it a lot from my friends or maybe from people that I work with that, Bana, you've been in Dubai for 10 years. Don't you think it's time for you to have your own cooking show? Don't you think it's time for you to do this, do that? And then I don't feel that I have to rush into things, but maybe sometimes that pressure makes you feel that maybe you're a bit behind, maybe you should have been there. And then they ask you, they compare you to people, They tell you, oh, look, this girl has only been in Dubai for 2 years and look where she is now. But then they don't see that maybe that girl or that personality got there through maybe a faster route, which I never accepted to take, being a woman and a single mom. So I think embracing this journey and taking it step by step and believing that the right things will come at the right time really helped me a lot. I would be lying if I tell you I don't wish that maybe I won on Shark Tank something as big maybe 5 years ago. But then maybe I was not that mature at that time. Maybe I was still looking for other things. So I do believe that it came at the right time. I really... what do you say? If I talk to women or men, I would tell them to, just like you said, slow down, wait for it. Whatever is meant to be, it will happen. And then... if you rush into things like they say, maybe the higher power, God, whatever they believe in, has better plans for you. So why would you have to write your own and then fight to get it? Just wait and then it'll come. Everything good will come your way. If it's meant for you, it will come your way. Perfect.
That's amazing and very rightly said. You said when they believe in God or higher power. Do you believe in God and the higher power?
Yes, of course. But I don't want to intimidate anybody because some people do believe in God. Some people maybe they have their own beliefs in power or energy. So, whatever it is, God is power, is energy. So it's just that if you believe in something that's higher and bigger than what we are and what we do, it just helps you maybe go on the right path and get to where you want because you are a believer. So in Arabic, it's called Iman, and Iman is believing. So you have to have this faith in you that God has better plans for you. And you don't have to fight the world, because let's say I went through things. I can give you an example. My son used to live with me, and then this year he had to go live with his dad. And I tried to fight it so hard. I was like, no, I need my son with me. I need to have control of his life. I need to be the one providing for him. I cannot let him go after 10 years of me providing for him. But then I felt, okay, maybe God is telling me something. Let him go to his dad, because at a certain age, maybe he needs a father figure. And then when I really let go and I let the world be and his path, let him just, follow his own path, things started to fall in place. And honestly, good things started to happen, because when you have so much clutter in your life, I'm not saying my son is clutter, but I'm just saying when you have so much clutter and you remove things, and then good things fall in place, because if you have so much, there's no space for new things. That's why we also, I don't know if you believe in it, but if you really give out the old things that you have, like clothes, whatever things you have, and then you give space for new things to come into your house. So I believe in that.
You seem to be following exactly what people that have experienced awakening do, subconsciously.
Oh, really?
Yes, you do. Because when you talk about releasing what no longer serves, creating space for the new, a lot of us hold on to relationships that haven't served us.
I don't ever.
We hold on to clothes that don't serve. But when we realize that when we create space, that void is filled by the universe, by God, for something better, something new. But the biggest thing for a lot of us to release, or the challenge, is to release the old version of ourselves. And that is what Rise is about. Yeah. It's about releasing a past version of yourself that isn't serving you, believing in yourself at a time when no one else believes in you. Because at the end of the day, we are going through this journey. There's no competition. We all have a unique path. Yeah. And that's when you're able to surrender. And releasing control is the biggest part, and it's the hardest thing to do, because we're so programmed from childhood to say that if you don't get good grades, you're not worthy. Yeah. If you don't get a successful career, you're not worthy. If you don't achieve all these milestones like expensive cars or properties, you're not worthy. Nothing. You're nothing. Yeah. When the soul in itself, we call it ruh, or however we say it, is awareness, it doesn't care. And another aspect of you being you, Bana, you have a very abundant energy. And that's something I notice in people. I read energy. Yeah. So how do you achieve that?
So when you say abundant, can you tell me more about what you mean in abundant, so I can...
What I mean by abundant is no lack.
Yeah.
Lack in opportunities, lack of belief in yourself.
Yeah.
Those kind of things.
I like that. Well, thank you. I don't know. I think maybe it's a couple of things combined. I think one of them is DNA, because my mom had the same energy. The other thing I think is the way I was brought up. I do believe that if you have a happy childhood, you're more likely to lead on a happier life. I don't know if you agree with me. And then, honestly, I don't know if you read this book. I don't know if we can say it on the podcast, but it's like the art of not giving a fuck.
Yeah, of course, yes.
They can just shoot. Yeah, so I do have that. I don't give a damn about anything or anybody's opinion or what people might think of me or how they perceive me, or I just know who I really am. I am more than happy with the way my personality got together. It's because of the way I was brought up, my parents, maybe the surroundings, my community, everything. So I'm just very proud of my personality, and I think that makes... So yeah, I was saying after I read the book, The Art of Not Giving a Damn, I felt that this is how I want to lead my life, and this is how I go with everything, day to day. If someone bothers me with anything, I don't give a damn. Something comes up and then it's not the way I want it, I don't give a damn. I'm just like, okay, whatever may be, maybe. And then the other things I say, this too shall pass. So if it's hard times, I know now, 100% I'm sure, when I go through rough times, there will be good times after it. So it's just like a mountain, Okay, now we're going down. Okay, let's go down. So I don't fight it. When I feel down or sad, I say, okay, let's embrace it. I'm feeling down today. So what? I don't do a meeting. Let me cancel that meeting. I don't maybe do what I have to do. It's okay. Tomorrow I'll get back up with higher energy, more drive towards work and passion and everything, and then things will happen. So yeah.
You were at some point in the corporate life. When we spoke initially, we actually shared a common career, events and exhibitions. When you left that, what made you leave and embrace or embark the journey of being an entrepreneur?
I cannot stand being restricted. So I would tell you like a funny story. When I used to work in an FMCG company for 5 years, and we used to do a lot of events there. And then like obviously there's a report you have to do in a company. So I would go into my manager's office and he tells me, Bana, where's the report? I'm like, report for what? I'm like, for what? He's like, for what you're doing. I'm like, come on, you don't need a report. You know what I'm doing. You know how much I like push the company, the sales, all of the changes that I've done. Okay, here, I'll tell you what we're working on. So I get like a yellow sticky note, and then I just have the points that I want to discuss with him. And then khalas, that's it. So corporate life is so restricting to one's abilities. I feel, okay, it's a safe place. A lot of people do feel comfortable doing the corporate life, but for me, or I think it's the same for you. When you have this creativity, you have this energy that you know you can create change, or you can do something beyond these walls of a company or an office. You feel like, no, I have to get out there and do my own thing. Why would I do it for somebody else?
So true. I've been through this experience so many times in my journey as well. Even when I joined a business coaching program, it was actually a program for coaches by a coach. Yeah. And I was part of that thing. In my journey, it's always been to experience different facets of life and industries and then see what's wrong with it and then talk about it. Yeah. So for me, when I joined that course, I saw people that I thought were pretty good at what they were doing, but they were unhappy.
I totally agree.
And when they were part of that coaching program, following the rules, I felt, what is going on? So I was like, what I think the problem was, you're asking a creative person to be an engineer.
Exactly.
And that is killing the dream.
I totally agree.
So we can't have creators subjected to a box or a mold, which is all of us really at the end of the day, right? Somehow we have intentions to do things that make us happy at the moment, but for a creator, you have to be free. You have to be untethered. And that's another part of experiencing Rise. When you don't feel comfortable with it, we go within and ask, what is it that's making me feel this way? But because of the fast-paced lifestyle that we lead, who has the time? Who has the time to spend time introspecting and understand, okay, maybe this isn't working out for me and I need to be more creative.
Or taking the risk to think about, am I happy or not?
Correct.
Yeah, because like you see people maybe that are working in sales, but like you said, maybe they're just more creative when it comes to marketing, but they will never know because they were put in that box of you have to do sales. But then if you had the freedom to explore more about what you're good at, maybe show the world your creativity, then maybe you have the freedom to go around. So yeah, I agree. That's exactly what corporate life makes you feel. You're trapped.
Correct. And this is the illusion. Again, part of the matrix, part of something that we would like to break with Rise. Having said that, an important aspect of finding freedom within yourself, being in touch with your body, your mind, soul, it's the food we eat. It's how we eat and what we eat. I would like for you to just talk a little about what you'd be doing at Rise and how this can help the audience to embrace a healthier lifestyle. Yeah,
like you said, food is a very important aspect. I find that people struggle with the idea of having to cook their own homemade food because they think it's time consuming or it's maybe hard. So what we want to do at Rise, because we encourage people to do and cook their own healthy meals, we're going to be doing a small workshop where they can come in, enjoy maybe a 10-15 minute experience on how you can cook a healthy meal in such like easy steps. So I'm going to make your life easier. I'm going to try to convince them that cooking is easy and it can be very fun. So it could be a fun activity for you and your son. So if you have kids, you can bring your kids along, right?
Well, yes. No, we can't.
Okay, so it could be like a fun activity. If you have your friends, you can come along, and then rather than going and eating in one place, you can just come and maybe experience how to cook a meal. And then maybe, I don't know, if you have your loved one, you can cook with your loved one because it's just a fun activity for anybody.
Of course, I think even for me in my personal experience, cooking was therapeutic.
Oh, it is?
When I was living by myself, that's what I did. I enjoyed it for the most part.
So should we have a cooking competition?
No, I'm not competing, of course not. You're the expert. But I could steal some of your recipes. I'm not going to deny that,
Yeah, and I'll be giving out like secret recipes, and then I'm sure people would love it, because we'll talk a little bit about nutrition as well and how to lead a healthy lifestyle away from diet. So it'll be a fun experience where you can cook, enjoy some nutrition tips, and enjoy the outdoors and everything happening at Rise.
Perfect. Well, as you heard, self-development, growth, living a healthy lifestyle doesn't have to be boring. It's actually a lot of fun, as you've seen with Bana. On the 3rd of March, I hope that all of you can come to the event and experience some amazing recipes from Bana, a lot of knowledge from people in different walks of life that have made through their journey. And hopefully we all learn from each other and grow together so that we can rise.
For sure. We all want to rise.
Bana, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Pleasure seeing you again and
Likewise.
talking about Rise. And guys, it's going to be so much fun. So you have to come to Rise.